What's up, everyone? It's me, Cindy, and I'm back with story number 8 today. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, so today's story is going to be about me when I was in kindergarten. I pretty much stayed with my mom the entire time I was little. I didn't ever go to preschool. I didn't do school before. So when I went to go to kindergarten, I was used to being with my mom every single day, all the time. I mean, I was pretty much joined her hip. And so when I had to go to kindergarten, I was excited, but I was also really scared. Like, I knew I had to leave my mom, and that was not fun for me. So my very first day of kindergarten, my mom walked me to class. She dropped me off, said her goodbyes, and of course, I was the kid that cried. I didn't cry a little bit, though. I cried a lot. And so my first day, I pretty much spent the entire day crying. I remember her giving us worksheets and we were supposed to cut stuff, and I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't really do that much that day. And so I think right off the bat, my teacher pretty much decided she didn't like me. I was the kid who pretty much cried every day for probably the first 2-3 months that I went to school. Like, not even exaggerating. It's pretty emotional. So my teacher, of course, that would get on anybody's nerves. I mean, every single day. It is a little much, but I was just really attached to my mom. And so it was hard for me. It was just difficult. And throughout the year, my mom would randomly buy me a Lunchable. And for me back then, I didn't get stuff like that. That was like a super special treat for me to get a Lunchable. You know, it had the ham, cheese, crackers, and then a cookie, which is really nice. Most of the time I ate school lunch, so every once in a while I'd get a Lunchable. Well, after the first couple times of bringing one, I started losing them. Like, my Lunchable would just go missing. It wouldn't be in my cubby anymore. And I would tell the teacher, and she didn't know what happened to it. So one day I noticed that every time my Lunchable went missing, my teacher, in fact, had the same Lunchable. Not really sure why a grown woman that was a teacher was bringing a Lunchable to school, but I started to realize that it wasn't just going missing, but my teacher was stealing my Lunchables. She hated me that much that she stole my Lunchables. And this one particular day, I remember, because I had a Lunchable, she took it, obviously. But it was when we went to go to lunch, we had 2 options. And that day, we were having pizza or fish sticks as the main meal. And so I was asked what I wanted to eat that day, and I said pizza, because I didn't really want fish sticks. My teacher then put me in the fish stick line, even though I said I wanted pizza. And when I tried to tell her and get out of line to go to the correct one, she put me back in the fish stick line. So I went ahead, got the fish sticks, went and sat down at my table. And while I was eating, she came over and asked me how they were. And I said I don't really like them, but I was trying to eat them, I guess. And she then decided that I needed some ketchup with my fish sticks, where she put ketchup on my plate. She then dipped my freaking fish stick in the ketchup and then told me to take a bite. And I didn't want to. but she pretty much shoved it in my mouth. So that traumatized me. Mind you, I was in kindergarten, I was 5, very emotional child. I went home and I told my mom what was happening. My mom doesn't take very kindly to people messing with her kid, which I totally understand because I'm pretty much the same way now. I'm just not as spastic and disrespectful as her. I try to go at it at different angles before I have to really bring my mama bear claws out, just for common courtesy and hoping the school still likes me, basically. Well, one morning I went to school. My mom walked me there, and she went ahead and dropped me off at the front gate, and I went to school, and it started my day. And about 30 minutes into the school day, my mom shows up. She just opens the classroom door, comes in, goes straight up to my teacher, and tells her, I know that you've been stealing my kid's Lunchables. I know that you force-fed my kid. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever do it again, I'm going to fucking kick your ass. And she said this in front of my entire class and was threatening and going after my teacher and yelling at her. There were security guards who came in and ended up escorting my mom off the premises. I do apologize. My cat is in the background and he's a little feisty this morning. So that noise you just heard was him doing something. I don't know, and I'll probably find the mess when I'm done with this video. However, so my mom was taken off the school premises, and she was not allowed to come to my school anymore unless she had a police officer escorting her. So that was embarrassing. But my teacher never stole my Lunchable again. Oddly enough, when I brought one the very next day, it didn't go missing. And from then on out, I wasn't force-fed any food that I didn't want to eat, and I got to pick what line I went in. So, I mean, she made her point across, but she actually came into my school and just took charge. Which now I'm like, I get it. You're sticking up for your kid. But who does that? What parent does that? Like, I don't know. It's just insane. And I still can't believe it. Not to mention, what teacher steals kids' Lunchable? Like, I don't know. It's just insane to me. And I don't know why, but the story has always stuck with me. And, yeah, it's so silly and insanity. And my mom took it to like 10 times the level that she probably should have. But my mom was pretty extreme like that. One of the other things that my parents did when I was younger is my friend that I've talked about before, R and L. So R was in my grade, and we went to school together. And my dad told R that when we went to school, he was responsible for watching out for me. That he was my protector. If something happened to me, that he was going to be in trouble. And mind you, we're like 6 and 7 by this point. I actually think this happened in 2nd grade. But that year, my friend got in a lot of trouble all the time because it was me and him in this classroom. And then there was this little boy named Patrick. And Patrick liked to push R's buttons. Like, basically, I remember this one day, we were in class and we were all doing our work, and for some reason the teacher had to get up and she went out of the room, and she said, I'll be right back, And Patrick sat right next to me in my chair, and I just remember I was sitting there doing my homework or my work at the time, and Patrick was like, hey, R, would look and he would take his finger and he would go really close to me and he'd be like, I'm gonna touch her. And he would freak out and be like, don't touch her. Don't do it. And it was always really simple stuff like that. Or like he would tap me on the shoulder or something like that. Well, he decided it would be awesome if he got up out of his chair and Patrick went ahead and touched me and they got on full on fledged, just started fighting. I mean, like physically hitting each other in 2nd grade over somebody poking me. And when he was sent to the office, he was told that he was my protector. So then my parents had to be called into the office to explain to them that they can't have somebody else just going around fighting kids all the time because somebody poked me in the arm. Yeah, so this is the kind of silly stuff that I went through all the time. And it's not that big of a deal, but it's just crazy stuff that I remember. You know, like other kids remember field day or, you know, when they got to go on a field trip on a school bus. And I remember my teacher stealing my Lunchables and my friend beating the smack out of this boy in my class because he poked me in the arm. And that's my stories for today. It's just random little childhood stories that I remember that both my parents egged on. And it's not really that big of a deal considering the other things I've talked about. But it was the foundation of my elementary school life. So it was pretty different and pretty interesting. So hopefully other parents out there will take the advice of not doing any of the following, you know, like attacking teachers at school or advocating for physical fighting at school on behalf of their sibling. I mean, with that being said, of course, my kids are in school together right now. I have one in 4th grade and one in kindergarten, and my daughter is the older one and my son is in the younger grade, and she's always helping him. Like, she walks him to class every morning, and she makes sure he gets on and off the bus, and she's very helpful. You know, she kind of keeps an eye on him when she can. But never have I told her, if you see somebody doing something, you should go attack them. You know, like, I don't know. It's just insane. I don't know why my parents' brain worked the way that it did, but it just, I don't know, just didn't go right with them, I suppose. But yeah, that's today's story. Story number 8. I will be on next time, so I hope you guys come back and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you can. See you guys.